Hi, this is Nin from NiNDesigns, part of the Keswick Arts and Crafts team. Today I'm going to show you how to do the twisted 1x1 ribbed long tail tubular cast on that I use quite frequently in many of my designs, especially from hats and for socks. So why do we use this cast on? What's the point of learning this cast on, basically? Well, it's really fun. I love doing it. It gives you a really pretty polished edge, and since it's tubular, it just flows around your garment. Sorry. And it just looks so very, very pretty. I like to set it up as a twisted knit stitch in the cast on so that this first stitch here matches the rest of your column if you're doing like a twisted rib. And I think that just gives it a much more polished look. So to do that, we first need to determine how long of a tail we need to do this cast on. I usually just take my needle and I wrap my yarn around the needle a few times. I probably would do 25 wraps and then undo. Let's pretend I did 25. Then undo it, and then whatever that length of yarn is my measuring tool. Since I know I'm going to be casting on 98 stitches, I would just measure like so. There we go. Still pretending, you know, that's the right length. Oop, gotta get a focus. Sorry. Okay. So I would know that, you know, each of these is 25 stitches long, and there's 4 of them. That would make it 100. So that would be how much yarn I would need. Then I would take that length, or pretend length, and I would put my starting slip knot right here if I was going to start with a purl, basically half of the length, right in the middle, halfway. Sometimes I do start with a knit stitch, depending on the design. If I do start with a knit stitch, I've noticed some knitters will start like this for their long tail. I prefer to twist that. So my ball yarn and my thumb yarn are on opposite fingers, or oriented opposite. And I find that just gives a little more stability to that first stitch if it's a knit stitch. But today we're going to do it as a purl. So we make our slip knot. Oops. We make our slip knot. There we go. Okay. And, oops, step backwards. Anyway, so the key to this is remembering that your tail, T for tail, is going to drape over your thumb, T for thumb. And the ball yarn is going to drape over your index finger. And then you're going to grasp, you're going to grasp the remaining ends, like the lengths, with these fingers here. So you've got like a slingshot. There we go. Okay. So this is our starting position with the right hand needle pointing up towards the sky. We've got our lovely V, or our slingshot, tail over thumb, ball yarn over index. Okay, so now we begin the cast on, and like I said, the purl knot, the purl is our slip knot, and we need to do a knit stitch. So using the right hand holding the needle, swing the needle tip towards your body, sweep it down under the thumb yarn. Okay, and the needle tip is now pointing through the center of the V. We're going to sweep the needle tip up through the V, and then we're going to sweep it over the index finger yarn. Bring it back down under the V and just keep going, and bring it back up to the starting position. There we go. And you can see how that makes the knit stitch. It kind of looks like a knit stitch. I mean, the legs are oriented a little funny, but that's okay. That'll change as we go on. Okay. So next we need a purl. To do a purl, starting from this position, we swing the needle tip over the index finger, bring the tip up through the middle of the V, and now we're going to swing the needle tip over the thumb, like so, and keep swinging under the V, under the index yarn, and bring it back up to the start position. And you can see, oops, sorry, bad focus. Oh, this camera. Okay, sorry, just going to see if I can get it to focus on. Come on. There we go, sorry. Okay, so now you can see how we've got a stitch on our needle and a bar across it at the bottom. And that looks like the bar of a purl bump. And that is the purl stitch. Okay, so we then go back to do our knit. Take your needle, right hand needle. I tend to pinch these stitches as I go, just so that they don't swivel and move around on the needle. I like to keep them orderly, and it just makes the next step, because there's really 3 parts to this cast on. It just makes the next step easier, because when you have it on circular needles and you're going trying to figure out which is the knit and which is a purl, it can get a little fun if they're oriented all the way jumbled around the needle. Okay, so the next step is because we have our purl, we need our knit. So bring needle towards us, under the thumb, up through the V, over top of the index, sweep all the way back up to the start position, and we've got our knit. And then we do our purl, which is sweep over the index, up through the V, over the thumb, and sweep, sweep, sweep all the way under, back up to the starting position. And you can see we have our purl bump right there. Okay, so I'm just going to put on a few more. Once you get used to this cast on, you can actually do it really fast, and it's a lot of fun, but you don't want to go too fast so you get your stitches all kind of a step that just bothers me. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to end with a knit, and I'm going to turn. We are not connecting in the round. The next step is to knit across this length, this row. So I'm just kind of tucking my tail yarn back here. So the next thing we do is we're going to purl. For purl, we're going to slip the purl stitches purl-wise with our yarn to the front of the work, and then we would put the yarn to the back of the work and knit the knit stitches through the back of the loop, because our knit stitches are oriented kind of funny, and that will get them to oriented in the proper way. So let's start. Because I'm starting with a purl, I'm going to just give, you can see how it, right there, I'm just going to slip that, just slip it so that it's an extra little twist there so it doesn't come undone. goodness. There we go. There's my purl. I'm going to bring the yarn to the front. Oh wait, no, sorry. I'm getting confused. Sorry, ignore that. Okay, so my yarn's to the back. There's my purl. I'm going to do my knit. And this is knit through the back of the loop, right here. Insert the needle and knit. So I've got my knit. Now I'm going to purl. So I bring my yarn to the front, and I'm going to slip that next stitch purlwise. Off my needle. There we go. Swing the yarn to the back, and now we're at another knit stitch, so we're going to knit through the back of that loop, like so. I apologize if you hear a hum in the background. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day out today, but extremely cold here in Atlantic Canada. So my poor dear old furnace is kicking in and out because my studio's downstairs, so it can be a little loud. So just ignore that hum in the background if you hear it. Okay, so we're going to do another knit through the back of the loop. There we go. Swing the yarn forward, slip our purl, swing our yarn back, and knit through the back of the loop. There we go. So you can already see how it's progressing on the needle. We're going to turn our work. So this is the last part of this cast on setup. So this row, we're starting with a purl. Again, we're going to slip our purls purlwise with the yarn in the front. Okay. And we're going to move the yarn to the back. And here is the key to the twisted 1x1 rib. Instead of just knitting, because now the knit stitch is oriented the proper way, instead of just knitting, we are going to twist our knit stitches by continuing to knit them through the back of the loop. So I'm going to do that. There we go. Bring the yarn forward, slip the purls purlwise, yarn back, knit through the back of the loop. Slip, yarn back, and knit through the back of the loop. There we go. Slip, back, and knit through the back of the loop. Okay. And you can already see how our cast on is progressing. We've got that first stitch as a twisted knit stitch, and it just gives it a more cohesive look as you continue to do your knit twisted 1x1 ribbing. At this point, you would join in the round and continue on with your pattern. And when you do this kind of cast on, you know, there is a gap at the end that you will need to sew. It's just a tiny gap, and that's why it's good to have, you know, a bit of a tail to sew that up. But it certainly makes a pretty cast on, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you use it and keep it as one of those cast-ons for your knitting repertoire. And that's pretty much it to how to do the twisted 1x1 ribbed tubular long tail cast on. I'm Nin from NiNDesigns, part of the Keswick Arts and Crafts team, and have a great day.